Hello students. So let's begin it with our next program, the interviewer. Okay. Okay. So let us read what is our next program, that is 7, that is design a web page using XHTML and PHP to insert employee ID, employee name and experience information entered by the user into a table created using MySQL and to display the current contents of this table. Also retrieve the details of the employee based on the employee ID as specified by the user. Okay, so here what we are going to use, we are going to use our XHTML and PHP to insert employee ID and name and also the employee's experience information, okay, into our MySQL database, okay, and also display the current contents of this table, okay, also retrieve the details of the employee based on the employee ID, okay. So what it is going to do, it is going to retrieve all the details of that particular employee based on his employee ID. So here again, we are going to include doc type HTML, head, HTML and title as insertion of employee information to the database. Okay. So here, these are nothing but the style specifications given, like red color for border and font size will be 1020. Okay. And enter the following information to be inserted into the database. Okay. So meanwhile, I'll just go on showing everyone the output to okay. So see here, enter the following information to be inserted into the database. Okay, so it is given as what? Color red, font size is 20. Form action is http colon localhost 2123 test lab 7 dot php. Okay, so this is, since we are connecting it to the database, so we should give the port number of this 2123. Okay, so before beginning with the code, so let me just give you all a brief introduction to our XAMPP server, which we are going to use here, okay, for the installation. Okay. Okay. So what we will have to do first and foremost, before beginning, we have to install this XAMPP server, which is the most popular PHP development environment. Okay. We are going to install it, and once we install it, it is going to create us with a XAMPP folder into our C drive. Okay. Then we are going to go on saying next as shown here. Okay. Next, and install all particular XAMPP required documents that are needed to execute this program. Then it is going to take us to the folder where we want to install. So we have to particularly select that particular folder and then we should store it there. Okay. So once that is done, the entire XAMPP server, this server, if you are going to use, and suppose that entire XAMPP you have installed successfully, then what you have to do, into our control panel you should go and you should just type as XAMPP control panel, as you can see in this green color highlighted portion. So once you click on that, this particular window gets opened, okay, where Apache and MySQL are there. So before beginning to any of our execution part, first make sure that XAMPP is installed into your device or your system, and then this, make sure you should go into your control panel and say XAMPP control panel when you type. So if the XAMPP is properly executed, then that particular command prompt is going to be opened, okay, as such this. Then make sure you are going to click on this start button for Apache and MySQL. Until then, your XAMPP is not going to begin, okay. So once you click on to that, okay, there will be particular port numbers given, specified, that is on which port it is going to be running. Okay, for that you should go in admin and check out some kind of code is going to be displayed wherein some particular port numbers will be given. So that particular port number itself, you have to put into your what, in our data. Okay, that is in our program, as I mentioned here. See here, http colon localhost, and when I was executing, the port number was 2123. So make sure sometimes the port numbers will be changing. Okay, so in such cases you should go and do here config. Okay, in config when you go, then some certain data is going to be removed into the notepad. So make sure that particular port number itself you are added into this program. Okay, then only your database is going to be connected to this PHP. Okay, then in XAMPP folder, wherever it is installed, you should create a test folder, and in that test folder you should save this program. Okay, then only it is going to execute. So make sure the path which you are mentioned here into your this lab program should be proper. Okay, okay, if you have given, if you have stored your program into some D or other folder, and if your example is somewhere else, then it is not going to have a proper connectivity. Okay, so I have stored my program lab 7 into XAMPP folder. Inside that I've created a test folder, and inside that I've created a lab7.php program I have stored. And method it is using as post, because here we are giving the input, we are posting the input, so post method is there. So input type it is using our text for the name, input type text again for the employee ID also, since few employee ID will be in terms of this what characters, or in sometimes it will be in terms of numbers, so we have given it as text itself. Okay, then input type will be text again for the experience also. Okay, if the person is going to enter the experience in terms of characters like TWO or in numerical values, anything, so we have given it here it as text itself. Then submit button. Okay, if we are going to submit the details, and reset if you want to include a new customer information. Okay, so here to make sure that here we are going to create one is HTML program, that is .html we are going to save, which we just saw up. Okay, then the second one will be insert.php. Okay, so here we are going to include another program here too. Okay, totally we are going to have three programs. I'll just mention about the other one also just after explaining this. So insert.php, here also head HTML body tag is going to be there, and here dollar of name. For that, you are going to include the PHP program as $_ post of name, where you are going to post the name. Similarly, for the employee ID and employee's experience also. Then $of con equals to MySQLi_connect. This is very important. Okay, if you want to connect your HTML PHP program to the database MySQL, then there has to be certain connectivity code that is going to be used to link both of this front end and back end. So for that we are going to use this MySQL connect. Okay, that is localhost and root. Okay, and if the connection is not getting connected, nor if dollar is not con that is connecting, then die, that is error in connecting to the database. Else if it connects, then it is going to display in particular window, that is green window, saying that connection is successful. Okay, see here, you all can see as it is. Then MySQL DB connected, then it is going to connect the user information, and it is going to take all the values whatever you are going to put it in from the front end into the MySQL, that is name, employee ID and his experience. Okay, and it is going to what display that the result of select star from user detail, that is how many ever details are there or how many ever employee informations are there, it is going to display. Okay, once you are going to insert it. Okay, then number of rows inserted. Okay, so similarly here again, what one more thing we are going to do here, it is also going to fetch that MySQL fetch array from MySQL_association. Okay, that is whichever values you have put into that particular employee row, or employee name row, or employee ID row, or employee experience row, it needs to fetch it also, because as per our question what it is saying, it has to retrieve also the employee details based on his employee ID. Okay, so for that fetch array it is going to use. Okay, 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 so here in header 4 what it is going to use, Okay, that is enter username to be searched. Okay, so here form action again we are going to use, that is localhost 2123 port and test and search.php. Again the method is going to be post, because you are going to give here employee id. Based on that it is going to display you back the result. So again here submit and reset button will be there once you put up your employee id. But okay, and now what we saw? We saw our HTML program, we saw our PHP program. But to search also, one more program is needed. So make sure for this lab 7 program, you are going to write 3 lab programs. One is HTML program, one is PHP program for the database connection, and the third one is another PHP for searching of that particular employee ID. Okay, here also employee post method we are using for employee ID, because based on employee ID, it is going to return us back all the particular data of that particular employee. And here also, if the connection is not getting connected, again it is going to say that die, in the sense there is some error in connecting to the database, else it is going to print as connection is successful. And whichever employee id you are going to put, okay, its result it is going to display you. If dollar of rows is 0, echo there are no rows with the name as any particular dollar name, that is whichever name you are going to give. Else whichever particular data is already existing, it is going to fetch that particular data and it is going to display to the user. Okay, so let me show you the execution of this. So here we can see here employee, enter name, employee id, enter experience, and 2 input types we have taken everywhere, that is submit and reset. So once this is our front page of our lab program. Okay, so similarly after inputting the values, that is employee name Raj, employee id is 456, and enter experience is 4 years. So once if I submit these details, it is going to, okay, display in terms of what, a table, all these value, how many people's data we have given. So see here, just now we gave no Raj and 34 and 2. Okay, employee id is 34 and his experience is 2. Okay, so once we give all the details, so here you can see no in green color connection as successful. Okay, if it is connecting, it is going to display with this particular what, screen. Okay, so once the employee ids are posted, then we are going to get it the output in terms of this way. Then again what, if we want to search particular id, suppose now 32, you can see here there is no employee id existing as 35, 34 is there but 35 is not there. So when I enter 35, so what it is saying, there are no rows with the name as 35. Okay, so it is going to display that there is no existing data for that particular information. Now suppose if we are going to give the username as 96 and 1. Okay, so here you can see that, see here for 96 and 1 there is one particular name existing as Raj. Okay, so here it will give the employee name as Raj, employee id 96 and experience is 4. Okay, so based on the employee id 96, it is going to display this particular person is existing with so and so experience. Okay, so and always make sure once you are done, again you have to turn off the Apache what and MySQL once you are done, and then you can end up the execution. So similarly you can go on storing all the data of an employee database. It can be in terms of any working environment. Okay, I hope you got the concept. Thank you.